procedure for tonight would be each candidate has 5 minutes to speak, and they'll be timed quite generously by Muriel. And when you hear a chime with 30 seconds left, you better wrap up because someone will be tugging at your sleeves to get off the stage. What we're going to do is Muriel is going to be pulling out a name out of a hat, technically, and it is not favoritism or anything, but if you're first, yay. If you're last, you're still one of the candidates. All I ask is that the audience here, I'm requesting everybody to respect a person speaking, because every candidate here tonight is here on merit. They deserve to be here. All I request from you is to give that same respect back and to listen to whatever they have to say. After the period ends, when all candidates have spoken, we're going to have a question and answer period afterwards. And again, I'm requesting that all your questions be based on what you've heard tonight, what you may have heard in their speeches on K103, and to ask questions regarding their what they believe is going to be their action as a candidate. I do not want any questions regarding their past, any questions regarding their business, or anything personal. It has to be strictly business tonight. So with that, we'll ask Muriel to pull out the first name.
So what Kahnawake Adams the Wagwagum, Kahnawake Hronum, Gadzit Hawita, Yujats, Wagaskarewaga, Aganistan, Gaha, Louise Ganakdonium, Zachary, Danum, Raganiha, Gaha, John Big Six Garha, Dodum, Rumwayat Sque. The Wada Degum. I'm Christine Zachary Diom. I'm solidly Kahnawake Hronum. I was educated at Kahnawake until grade 7, and from then on, I was away at school, whether it was at the convent school or whether it was at university. I was at universities for 10 full years of university. I don't think it's so unusual now because I often hear about all the young men and women who are away at schools. But in those days, I suppose it was unheard of. I have a Bachelor of Degree in History and Anthropology from the Maritimes, also a degree from Western University, Ontario, in Honours Anthropology. I also have a teaching degree from McGill and a law degree from there as well. My work experience, in all my work, whether as a teacher or as a lawyer, in all of the work that I've done, I guess it's always been important for me to rely on the facts of a situation. It was always very important to me that I exercised what I had to do to ensure that in my work activities, I was always relying on the facts of a situation. I had to be sure as a teacher, I had to make sure that I was relying on what was correct and factual. As a lawyer, I was relying on facts, and I think it meant the difference between winning or losing a case. I think many others in this room actually as well rely on whether or not they have the facts, clearly the facts of a case. And it's easy to lose when you don't care about the facts. I care very much about facts in a situation. Some may say that these strengths are unimportant. And some may say that, well, you know, you've got history as one of your strengths. And some may say, well, it's not really important, you know. But for me, it's one of our major, major importance, because we've got so many arguments that have to be made, and we have to be actually very sure of the arguments that we are making now. People may say to us, and the provincial governments may say to us, and have said to us before, you're immigrants to this land. And you can't imagine how that feels when someone says that to you. And I was in a room once, before I was ever a chief, with the whole council, when the ministers of the provincial government said that to our council, that you are immigrants to this land. And I guess we were not in for a fight at that point, or maybe we didn't have all our facts together, but I was amazed that that should happen. It happened in Quebec City. I was there. Others were there as well who can tell you that that actually happened. It wouldn't happen now, because we are working and ensuring that those facts are being put together in such a way that that's not going to happen again. We are working solidly to ensure that the facts of a situation, that will not happen again. So I think it's a very important foundation. It's one of our strongest foundations. Our history cannot be put to the side. We've always been very proud of who we are, where we're from. I've always maintained, and you've heard me say it a million times, if not once or twice, that Kahnawake has one of the most solid histories in this country, not just in this province, in this country. And so we've got to ensure that all of our students here, our high school students, our elementary school students, that we are convinced of the strength of our history. We've got to make sure that we know precisely who we are and that we can defend ourselves. We're not always going to live to be 100 years old, so that we're able, as teachers and as chiefs, to pass on our history intact to our youngsters, to our students who are coming up. Great. So this is what's very important to us. In our negotiations, very easy for provinces and federal departments to be abrupt in their discussions with us. This can't be borne. The French and the English do not originate in our country. We've got to make sure that they understand that, and understand that this is our country and that we can prove it. So let's ensure that the chiefs on our council are solidly in line in their histories, and that we can pass these histories along to our people, our students, and our children. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Frankie Fafa Macumber. My mom's Sheila Lazar. My dad is Raymond Ray's Pizza Macumber. I've been married for 23 and a half years to my lovely wife, Donna. We have 5 beautiful children, Wadanusi Osta, Osadaze, Brogan, Fallon, and Frankie Jr. We have 3 gifts of grandchildren, Agahawi, Preston, and our new baby, Mayday. Where do I start? I'm a local businessman. It's the first time I've ever run for council. We started this trek, my wife and I, on a trek in business around 21 years ago. I got hurt working in Michigan. I had back surgery, October 2007. Our little youngest boy was born December 2007. March came, and I'm not looking for any pity here, but March came and we're on welfare. And my wife decided to sell her house that she had in town so that we can pay our bills and get by. With selling that house, we opened up a cigarette store, and we worked our ass off. Through that cigarette store, we were able to build a cigarette factory with hard work and dedication. We ended up buying the Bova Quarry which is now JFK Quarry, in 2007. I guess what I've learned along the way is you got to fight for your family first, and then you got to fight for your community. Now I'm at the time where I feel like I have to fight for our community. I have to give back to our community. That's basically what I'm about. Thank you. I'm done.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. My name is David A. Daibo. My father is Matthew Daibo, son of Frank K. Daibo and Lillian Norton. My mother is Margaret Thomas, daughter of Frank Thomas and Roseanne Jacobs. I'm running for this seat. So I believe in Kahnawake, in bettering Kahnawake. I believe there's a lot of good that can be done here. There's a lot of bad things, I would say, that have been spoken about, but no one talks about the good stuff that happens in Kahnawake. We have great education. We've got a lot of people with experience in all areas that can be exploited for our benefit. Along those lines, I have an extensive education from Algonquin College, Cape Breton University, and Carleton University. I have knowledge, skills, and ability in a wide area that I would like to exploit for the benefit of Kahnawake. I'm interested in this position to put everything I have to offer at the disposal of this community to help with our issues in emergency management, occupational health and safety, labor, housing, education, economic development, heritage, language, and culture, working with the elders and youth and our local workforce. Through my experiences at the Assembly of First Nation and INAC, I've gotten to know the issues that affect First Nations across Canada rather intimately, more than I would like, because we're not so different than everybody else. A lot of the issues are the same, but every nation has specific issues to them. So it's given me a good base on what I would say is my experience that I can bring to working in this position. And I won't bog down this speech. It's enough to say that there's a lot of work to do, and I'm ready to listen and work for and on behalf of Kahnawake with the MCK to make better lives for ourselves and our children. Thank you.
Gregway, good evening. Thank you for all coming tonight. I don't, actually looking around, I know many of you probably know me. I'm Malcolm O'Brien, my father, Red O'Brien, and my mother, Olivia Paul. Okay. She's part of the Wolf Clan. I'm an industrial engineer. I've been an engineer for about 25 years now. And I worked mostly in New York City. I've moved back home here in 1990, so I've been here quite a while. And I've been trying to use my engineering as much as I can to help business in our community. For those of you who are not familiar with industrial engineering, it's basically a branch of engineering. We plan and evaluate better ways to do things, finding the best way to do things, okay? That's what engineering is about, industrial engineering. As an industrial engineer in New York, I continued my education in the evenings. I went to school nights and weekends to get a master's degree in business. I have an MBA, okay? I've again been trying to use those attributes to assist small business in our community. And that is my main, I guess, area of expertise and experience is business. I've been working with small business people here in the community for the past 20 years. And the bottom line has always been gaining money from the government, getting the federal government to give us money to assist people in starting, developing, expanding, and whatever else needed for business, okay? There's been many businesses in town that I've helped begin. I don't like to, and never do, name anyone's business per se, because it is totally confidential. A couple of things maybe I can mention that are well past due and are no longer existing as far as businesses were on the highway to Chateauguay, where MIT is located, the building that they're located in, I was able to get the Canadian government to finance that building. And they paid for that building, basically. Another project that I worked on that I think most of you know was a while back we had the chain, or I should say, ultimate fighting at the arena, which at that time was considered illegal in Quebec. Quebec said that they were not allowed to have that type of fighting. But we had an event at the arena, and the federal government, again, I obtained some funds for them to put the event on. They paid for the rental of the arena, and they assisted on promotion and advertising, okay? And Quebec, of course, considered it an illegal activity. But that's Quebec and the federal government to talk about. I've been looking at our council and why I'm interested in coming on that seat. I think there are some very good resources on that council, and I think that's what we want as a community. We want the council to have as many different types of professionals. We just recently put a lawyer on the band, and we have a peacekeeper experience for several years, so very knowledgeable of the street law. And I think that's what we want. We want the council to be as well-based as possible to be looking at the activities that come before them on the council table. That is where I feel my experience, years of experience, and my education, engineering, and business can be helpful to the council. I think it's a resource that the council doesn't fully have right now and that I can bring to it. On that note, that is why I'm looking for your vote. That is why I'm looking for your vote, and hopefully on Saturday I can get one. I appreciate you all coming again tonight. Thank you for your time. Now, go.
Thank you, Angus. Segu, my name is Cody Daibo. My parents are Rodney Daibo and Donna Lahash. I have a daughter. She's almost 2 years old. Her name's Ivy Marie Daibo. And my girlfriend is Kirsty Daibo. They're the best things that are in my life right now. I was born and raised in Kahnawake. I went to school in town for elementary. For high school, I went to Montreal. For college, I went to Ottawa. And I did some odds and end training in Aguesasne for trades programs. As a teenager, I worked at my aunt's store. As a teenager, I was an electrical apprentice. During my early 20s to mid-20s, I was a peacekeeper. And for the past 2 years, I've been at the Cattery Hospital at security. So what we do in life echoes in eternity. I would like everybody to just think about that moment, that statement for a moment. Now, by the year 2050, scientists are predicting a few major events that will drastically change all life on planet Earth for human beings. First, they're predicting that fossil fuels, such as crude oil or gasoline, it could possibly run out unless there's a new viable source found. Second, the population of planet Earth is estimated to be about 9.8 to 10 billion. Now, with that number, they're estimating that's the max number that planet Earth can sustain. Clean water will be in high demand. Food resources will be stretched to their limits. Thirdly, unless fossil fuel emissions right now are drastically reduced, they estimate that the planet Earth will be about 3 to 6 degrees hotter. That would in turn melt more ice, and sea levels are to rise between 20 to 30 feet, they're estimating. And that's only in about 30 years they're predicting. So back to my statement. What we do and decide to do not only affects us, but our children and their children, and so on. We are no strangers to decisions. Decisions were made long before any of us were born, and they affect us today. If people from the past knew what we know now, and are currently going through, would they make those same decisions? Are we sure we're making the best decisions for the next 7 generations? Over the past few years, there have been talks and laws and votes about casino legalization of marijuana. To date, we have 2 private casinos, and now council is writing laws proposing the sell and grow of marijuana. At the time, this community used to be zero tolerance, and now this is the direction we're going towards. All in the name of what? Money. Money is essential right now. But if the predictions that scientists are setting out for the next 30 years, if they come to fruition, money's not really going to be too much help. You can't eat money. You can't buy planet Earth to stop raising her climate. And we can't eat it. If I'm elected, I would like to begin moving Kahnawake towards more of a self-sustainability. I would like to begin working on Kahnawak's own energy grid. I don't know why we have to pay Hydro-Quebec, some CEO that we don't know, some ridiculous amount of money, just so we have to turn on a light switch, keep our food from spoiling, cooking, watching TV. With our own energy grid, we could pay a lot less than we would pay for now. If there's a problem, then we'll have our own crews to go there and work on it. And it won't have to take hours. I know last summer, there was always a problem, and it seemed like it was taking forever for them to fix the problem. Not only will the hydro bill be less, but maybe we should work towards it being even free. That's what council's goal should be, is to help the residents of Kahnawake, providing that. Also, the amount of local jobs that it would create. The infrastructure alone, just to build the house to clean energy sources like wind and solar, that could take 50 people easily over a span of 5 to 10 years. When the grid is complete, then you have even jobs within that system. You have the crews to fix the system if something breaks, maintenance, security of the equipment in the buildings that house the equipment. You'll have all those jobs right from top right down. Oh, I better hurry up then. I would also like to begin working on a community-run farming industry. Our ancestors fed themselves. Why aren't we still doing that? We rely on imported food from Mexico and California to keep us fed. In our day and age, we can practically grow food year-round with greenhouses. With just these 2 projects, Kahnawake could be self-sustainable, and we as a people, as a community, could once again be united working towards our people's future, not just our own. I want to leave Kahnawake a better place for my daughter, my nieces, and for my community, and for the next 7 generations. I want to know that they will have food to eat and be warm in the winter. What we do in life echoes in eternity. Thank you.